What's up guys, Chaotic50 back for another video, and today we've got the long-awaited MGW race spec X-spec short throw shifter for my MT82 equipped 2014 Mustang GT. Getting straight to the question that everyone's gonna be wondering, is this shifter worth the money? To keep it simple, yes, while flexing a hefty $474 price tag, which is a moderate amount, it's absolutely worth the money, all of it. This shifter that I chose for my 2014 Mustang GT is MGW Shifter's best, most performance-oriented shifter for the later model S197s, solving most of the lockout issues that the stock MT82 is known best for. If you're unaware, the stock linkage of an MT82 is fully chassis mounted, whereas this MGW shifter is fully transmission mounted. That means no more high RPM linkage flexing, causing me to miss gears while trying to enjoy my badass cruise in this newly transformed Mustang. MGW has done an amazing job creating a beautiful hand-built, milled one piece at a time, low profile, short throw, race spec, X-spec, that's right, 2 specs, which just so happens to be 2 more than the stock shifter, so that obviously means that it's better. Carrying on with the shifter quality, the shifter is crafted one piece at a time, like I said before, out of lightweight billet aluminum, then put together by hand before being carefully checked over that all the parts you need are in your package. The shifter came packaged with all the parts carefully wrapped and protected inside an undamaged cardboard box, which seemed to be the first for me. The quality of the shifter itself, although seeming bulky and quite overkill, was actually very nice. It has a smooth, refined feel above the stock shifter, sporting a very precise short throw of only 2.625 inches, which is overall a 25% reduction from the stock shifter. When assembled and installed, the shifter is stiff, quite notchy, yet very short and very precise shifting. The overall feel of the shifter itself is not too far from stock, whereas the stock one had a smooth, fully spherical, white shift knob that, although looking very good, did not match a single part on this murdered out vehicle. And the new one that I specially ordered is almost fully spherical shift knob that came assembled with a custom faceplate pre-mounted on the top, as well as a top quality, beautiful red stem. The shipping time of your purchase may also vary. Although upset when I found out initially that my new shifter would take 5 weeks at the least to show up at my house, it was all worth it once I drove it. Seeing the quality of the shifter out of the box, it was immediately a 10 out of 10 product. Neatly packaged, securely protected, and at my doorstep. The only problem I had was figuring out how to put the damn thing in. Although it took some vigorous effort and many a day, in fact, mere hours of dropping it off at my local Ford dealership, my race car was finally ready to go. Upon first mounting of my mighty steed, I gently copped a feel of my car's sweet transformed gonads. Or wherever you want to call it, sexy thing. Anyways, sorry about that. My initial reaction was shock. The shifter was absolutely stunning. The shift knob with a nice new look that truly refined the look of the shifter, the beautifully chosen topper with an intricately chosen Ghost Coyote design combined with a standard 6-speed shift pattern, and tidied up by the best quality knob stem I've ever laid my eyes upon. Even though being such a small component to this car, the shifter really changed the entire feel of the vehicle. In some cases, if driving too aggressively, the shifter would still lock me out, but at that point the problem is just the shitty stock clutch that can't handle this much power. In doing research, it was a common claim that MGW Shifters was the best producer of performance aftermarket shifters for these poorly equipped MT82s. It just seemed like MGW left all the shifter companies in the dust with this one. With their singular precise machining of each part, the option to spec out the shifter with 4 different throws depending on how aggressive you wish the vehicle to be, a stock high or low profile knob position, and the best, notchiest, most precise throws I've ever encountered. But instead of rambling on, let's take this thing on a drive and get a real behind the wheel test so you guys can just see how amazing this shifter is. Alright, so here we are in my 2014 Mustang GT equipped with my brand new MGW short throw race spec X-spec. Is there any more? Am I missing anything? I don't think I'm missing anything. I just don't have it down yet, but Short throw race spec x-spec MGW shifter. This thing's amazing. So my first reaction driving this was actually, I was very confused on how this could change the feel of the car so much. The old shifter, it was very smooth, it was pretty precise, but when you're trying to rag on it, it just wouldn't do what you wanted. The short throw really helps put it straight into gear when you're trying to race somebody. The low profile is a really comfortable design. My hand doesn't really sit much higher than just resting position. Usually with these transmission mounted ones, you shouldn't rest your hand on them while cruising because it can be bad for the transmission. The chassis mounted stock shifter, that would have been completely fine because it was hardly touching the transmission, which is why I couldn't do this. Woo! And man, I love doing that. So let's talk about MGW, the company. So far from what I've heard, MGW has the best aftermarket shifters for these cars. Period. That's it. I've heard about Hurst. Hurst is good, but nobody ever really says anything great about them. All the research, all the forums, everything I've been through, all the people I've talked to, everything. Every single person referred me an MGW shifter. And whether it be paired with a clutch, maybe like a twin disc McLeod clutch, that was fourth. Is flying. Now, with this new shifter, it really doesn't lock me out. Unless I'm not paying attention, I can shift at redline. And the reason I kept saying that this shifter is notchy as well is because if you look closely, when I shift, it kind of clicks into neutral, and then it just clicks right into the other. You're like, click, click. Power shift this thing. If I wasn't afraid of the clutch blowing up, I would definitely power shift this thing. So let's talk about the shifter itself. It was worth the money. It was definitely worth it. It looks gorgeous. It definitely fits the car. It's just, I don't think there's anything I can say that is negative about this shifter. MGW, great company, great customer service, great product. I mean, it took a little long to ship, but when you're machining out parts one part at a time, and then you've got an actual person putting that together by hand, it's just, the quality over the quantity is really what you're looking at. You pay a pretty good sum of money for a very good shifter, top of the line shifter. This is the best you can get for these cars. Unless you go with a sequential or some crazy race setup, this is what you're gonna wanna get. Second gear pull, I'm doing 30, I'll redline it and shift into third. Usually if I'm redlining, third locks out, fourth especially. Insane. Just the ease of how quick this thing is. And this shifter just makes the car feel so refined. I've done a couple mods to it that you guys haven't seen yet. Very awesome mods that you guys are gonna love. They look amazing. I love them. Everybody else loves them. And more stuff's just gonna keep coming. I'm gonna build this car. I've got a couple mods in mind. I don't want to spoil much anything, but there's a new set of wheels coming soon for this thing. I'm thinking about getting rid of the murdered out look. I don't know for sure, okay? But I've got my eyes on a good set of wheels. I'll big thing to watch out for when putting performance parts like this in your daily driver, which this is basically my daily driver. The V6 is out, the clutch is gone, I'm gonna have to get a new clutch. This is it. You really need to look at the daily drivability of it. Sure, the MGW shifter is great. It's an amazing shifter. Performance, take it to the track, it'll do everything you want to throw at it. But is it a good daily, comfortable transmission? Does it feel comfortable for just a daily driving car? Yes and no. I do enjoy the smooth, slow feel of a nice, smooth, long throw transmission when cruising. I can't lie about that. Something about being able to shift long and just roll through gears like it's just stock, and it was just pleasing. Now this, I'm not complaining. This is definitely up to par for the comfortable daily drivability of this vehicle. It's still not cheap. The thing is it feels exactly the same just cruising as it is slamming through those gears at redline. It's in the attention to detail and the quality of the product just outweighs the price tag. I would have paid double the price for this because it is just such an amazing shifter. And I'm not sponsored or anything. And you know, honestly, it's very true. I could just be talking out of my ass just because my stock shifter and the stock setup I had on this thing was atrocious. It didn't do what I wanted it to do. But now I got the Boss 202, now I got the tuner, it's starting to gain a little power, and this just added on top of it. This is just like the bow to tie it all together. This thing is pretty much performance oriented right now. It's pretty much a full bolt-on vehicle. A pair of headers and this thing's full bolt-on. So already, and these are still the stock tires and wheels. Right before I had the shifter put in, my 0 to 60 was 5.6 seconds. That's the best I could get. And I was spinning all over the place. It was colder then when I did it, but not too much. And with this, slow start off, I had traction control fully on, and it gave me 5.3 seconds 0 to 60. Spinning through first, spinning a little through second. It definitely got a little fishy in the back, but it's insane how it just changes the car like that. The whole feel of it, the whole performance of it, it just feels like a whole different car. The shifter is just the style of it, the notchiness of the gears, the short throw, the precise gearing. The gears are like an inch away from each other, if that. It is crazy. This shifter makes this car a race car. Put it in, so I know they did it right. And they did do it right, because this thing hasn't given me any problems at all. It feels great. It feels like a very rigid, sturdy transmission now. The MT82 before with the stock shifter felt great. It felt comfortable, but that's really it. It was just based around comfort. It couldn't handle the power. It couldn't handle really anything. Chassis mounted, the shifter linkage would always flex at the higher RPMs. I mean, you're going that fast, the car's vibrating that much. If the shifter's not mounted to the transmission, there's gonna be room for play, and where there's room for play, there's room for error. This shifter left no room for error. MGW did, I believe, the best job they could have. This is the best shifter on the market for a 2014 Mustang GT. And if you guys agree with me, leave a comment down below. If not, let me know what you think. Is hers better? I've never driven anything else, but from what I've seen and from what I've felt, obviously, this thing's pretty good. And the style that comes with it, the options it's just overload. They give you every single option you could wish for. You got the stock throw, you got the stock height, you've got maybe like, I think it said 10% reduction, 16% reduction, and then the x-spec, which is 25% reduction. This is crazy. This is the shortest throw shifter you can get from one of these cars. the transmission and the power plant can handle it, this thing will be able to handle it. It's a great quality shifter. It's a great company, great customer service. It feels really great to shift, and the shift knob is like textured, so just the small attention to detail for the comfort of a driver, the type of things that you would really want to like just have. That's like small nitpicky things, that like the really nice topper to the shift knob, the Ghost Coyote in the back, that's beautiful, with the 6-speed gear pattern on the front. It's great. I had to pick that one. This dark red knob stem, oh my gosh, it looks awesome. And that's just the beginning, is the look of just the knob and the stem. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Quite literally, this is just the tip. The rest is like down there. You can't really see it. You can see it in my last video though. I'll link it right, wait a minute. Right there? No, right there. No, right there. Third gear is pretty good, probably like max 300 horsepower. I would never go back to the stock shifter. This shifter's comfortable when you're racing, this shifter's comfortable when you're cruising. I mean, hell, this shifter's comfortable when you're just sitting in your driveway playing with it for like 20 minutes after you park. You guys do that too, right? That's not just me. Shoot. Never mind. Forgot I said that. It's fine. Anyways, it's just a great shifter. I'd say 10 out of 10. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. 9.5. I don't know if there's better, but I couldn't imagine. Just from what I've been through in my old stock shifter, that thing really disappointed me. That thing really let me down. And having nothing but this to compare that one to is just worlds ahead of what the old one was. But now that we're done with the review, I've given you guys some good driving clips. I've given you guys a good, my honest review of this. It's totally worth the money. It looks great, it feels great, it drives great. It's not too expensive. 500 bucks after tax and shipping and handling. That's not awful. It really just changes the whole feel of the car. Once I got in this car and drove with this shifter, it felt like a brand new car. It didn't even feel like the same car I've come to know and love. It's just different, and not a bad different, it's an enjoyable different. This is the best mod I've done to this vehicle so far. And I put the Boss 302 in there. I've got this tuner that costed just as much as this. I've got a whole setup going, and this thing right here, this little tiny thing that nobody really thinks to do, is the best one I've done yet. But you know what? It almost doesn't beat the one that I did last week. I kind of want to show you guys that one. Let's go. All right. You guys stuck to the window, sorry about that. So, now I don't know if you guys can see this clearly. That's not supposed to be there, is it? That is a ZL1 add-ons wicker bill for the 2014 Mustang GT, which looks amazing when paired with SVE axle back quad tips. They just look so great. And the GT500 balance, that's Ford OE. I think it's time for a good sound clip. Think? I think she looks great. I think she sounds great. Another surprise for you that I'm not too sure when I'll put this one in. Possibly within the next couple weeks, hopefully. Just a little sneak peek. You guys know what's up here. Not yet. Not yet. I had a shop quote me on it, and they said that they don't recommend putting it in because it looks like a really cheap part and the stock one's nicer. So basically what they told me is to keep it stock. This thing is actually pretty far from stock. It's definitely not stock. Obviously the best mod I've ever done. This transformed my car more than any other mod. It did more than that thing. It did more than the Boss 302 thing in there. It did more than the quad tip axle backs that look so great and sound amazing. And it was only 500 bucks. This was less than those, was less than those. Those were spendy, those were bad. But no, this, so nice. So if you guys are in the market for an aftermarket shifter for your 11 to 14 Mustang, and even an S550, they've got these things for S550s as well. Many different cars, many different models. This is a great option. I've heard this is the best option. I don't really have any facts to back that up, but personally, if you go with this shifter, I guarantee it. Now, you have MGW's guarantee, because obviously they take pride in what they do. Obviously, look at the quality of this. This thing is just stiff. It's not going anywhere. It's hard to, the neutral is tiny. The gears are right next to each other. It's hard to push down in reverse. It takes a lot of character to drive. And I like that. I like a car that's kind of difficult to drive. You really need to know the car to be able to drive it correctly and comfortably. That's perfect. This is awesome. Great shifter for racing, great shifter for cruising. It's just an all-around great option. Now, if you don't really do much performance stuff, the shifter isn't a big deal. The reason I got this is, one, because I really want a new shifter because this is awesome. Two, lockout was a pain. So if you guys are in the market for an aftermarket shifter for your 11 to 14 and even S550 Mustangs, go check out MGW shifters. They have what you need. This will be the one for you. I've heard this is the best. I don't have facts to back it up. Not cold hard facts. I mean, pretty good facts. Like, random people on the internet said it. So obviously I trust them. I'm a very overly influenced teenage boy who trusts everything he sees on the internet. That's why I got this. People say this good. Me say, okay, I buy. Me give money and me take shifty. Me say less word, save more time. Me shift in the car and go boom. Bye-bye. So, a quick summary conclusion. This is worth the money that it cost. The little extra stuff on top, the shift knob, just to tidy it all up, is definitely worth it. 60 bucks for this whole setup. It's a little spendy, but the quality of it is just, it's sublime. It's awesome. It's a really good quality. It's just such a nice shifter. They put their all into every single part of the shifter, and you can just tell. It's just so easy to tell. Once you take it out of the box, it looks like a 10 out of 10. Really good quality product. All right, guys. So this was Chaotic 50, and that's going to conclude my video for this MGW short throw shifter. It's amazing. I love it. It's worth the money. If you're in the market for one of these, an aftermarket shifter, MGW is the company for you. Great shifters, great quality, great product. It's just amazing all around. You're not going to regret it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Couple more videos coming soon on the, obviously, what I showed you back there. Don't tell anybody. Nobody else knows yet. But big things coming, guys. I've got a lot of plans for this car. It's coming together. I've been doing a lot to it lately. It's only going to keep coming. And it might slow down a little bit. I have been having some issues budgeting my mods. It turns out that if you buy a lot of the mods that you really want around the same time, you tend to like run out of money and stuff. But you know, it's not a big deal. Car guys do that all the time, and I mean, sure, their wives hate it, but I'm not married, so I don't really have anything to worry about. Anyways, this was Chaotic 50, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!